What is up, you guys? Back here with another video. It's fight week for UFC 274 coming up. Oliveira taking on Gaethje, the rematch between Rose Namajunas and Chandler Esparza, and Michael Chandler taking on Tony El Kukui Ferguson. So those are going to be the three fights that I'm going to be talking about. Yeah, man, before I get started, make sure to please hit the subscribe, ring that bell. Would appreciate it. And yeah, man. So in the main event, Oliveira, Gaethje, both guys coming off a win. In their last fight, Oliveira fought fought Dustin Poirier in his last time out, and he looked pretty good. You know, of course he gets rocked. Of course, you know, Oliveira has this thing of like always getting rocked early, but always coming back with a submission win in the later rounds. And I kind of knew how that fight was gonna go because as good as Dustin Poirier is, and you know, he don't really use his wrestling as much. I'm pretty sure he doesn't put in the work that much when it comes to the wrestling, like he probably was back then. I mean, Dustin Poirier is a tough dude, but I knew if it went to the ground, Oliveira was gonna have the advantage. Now, the difference between Dustin and Justin Gaethje uses his wrestling, but it's more defense than it is offense. You know, more to say. So this fight is gonna be very interesting. You know, Gaethje, I mean, he's going to be a tough dude. Oliveira got to watch out with those leg kicks, those blast leg kicks that Gaethje be throwing all the time, especially inside. You know, it's super hard to throw kicks when you're inside that much, but going for the legs isn't that bad. So, and I think the power advantage still goes to Justin Gaethje in this fight. He looked good against Michael Chandler, the fan favorite fight that everybody wanted to see. You know, he looked good against Michael Chandler. He looked, you know, I like this Gaethje. He's so composed and not, you know, going crazy, but control chaos that he's been doing. And it looks good on him now. You know, I still think if it hits the ground and, you know, Gaethje gets any type of way of tiredness or Oliveira is able to take his back and hold him for a while, that's going to be a sucky round for Justin Gaethje. I feel like for Justin, the hands is where it's at. You know, Justin Gaethje has really good boxing and kickboxing. You know, so I really hope that he's able to keep the fight standing and give a great show. Oliveira's hands has improved over the last couple of years. And even now, Oliveira, you know, he always had decent hands, but now he's learned how to put them together when he fights. And it's just looking phenomenal, you know, mixing it in with his great jiu-jitsu that he has. Because he really does. He's like the Damian Maia at 155, you know, but with good hands, you know. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I cannot wait for this fight. You know, it's going to be a tough fight for sure. And I want to talk about also the co-main event. Rose Namajunas taking on Chandler Esparza. Both ladies have changed dramatically over the last years. Rose Namajunas winning the title twice, knocking out Joanna Jędrzejczyk. You know, she's improved tremendously with her striking and the grappling. So I feel like this time around is going to be way different than the first fight. You know, even the first fight all those years ago, I feel like Rose was super strong and the kicks and everything was throwing Esparza off. You know, but she just got tired and Esparza took advantage and won. But I feel like this time around, you know, and Chandler Esparza's improved too. I mean, she's still a great wrestler, and she uses her wrestling very strong. You know, strong wrestling, especially when she's on top. So, but again, I think Rose has improved her game so much better. She's so much better, and I can't really wait to see what the ladies are going to bring. Esparza, for her, what benefits her is getting the clinch or getting a takedown early and try to do her best to not let Rose just tee off on her with the strikes. She lets Rose kind of like tee off on her or Rose get a really good rhythm. It's going to be tough. But then it's still going to be hard for Esparza to get a takedown at times, I feel like, just because Rose has really good footwork too, man. Troy Whitman is the man, dude. That dude his ring smarts and intelligence when it comes to fighting is just phenomenal. So I think first Esparza, 100% sure she's going to want to take this fight to the ground. Do whatever she can to get the fight to the ground. You know, probably stay on top for a little bit, but not. I don't think she's going to want to be there with Rose. Rose boxing is Chris, you know. So it's really going to be interesting to see if Carla Esparza can get the fight to the ground and get it in her favor. You know, like I said, Rose is no slouch on the ground either, so it's not like it's a big dramatic favor right now. But it's going to be an interesting fight. I can't wait. You guys let me know down in the comment section what do you guys think, and who you guys are going to have winning. Now, the one before the co-main event, Michael Chandler taking on Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson hasn't been looking pretty good. He lost his last couple of fights. So has Michael Chandler. Just everybody, Chandler just been given war since he's been in the UFC. I hope Chandler kind of calms it down a little bit. He's I think, really only won like one fight, I think, in the UFC, which was to Dan Hooker, that he knocked him out when he made his debut. So it's just like, I hope he calms down and fights his fight, because Chandler's a really good wrestler with a great overhand right. Tony Ferguson has a chin like crazy, but Tony Ferguson is just so unpredictable when he fights. So that's going to be the interesting part of this fight for me. I think if Tony Ferguson's so awkward at times that it's super hard to predict, like, what is he going to do in the octagon. But I think Michael Chandler has what it takes to beat Tony Ferguson. In a way, I think the wrestling, the striking, depending on what Tony Ferguson we get, the striking advantage and the power advantage, I think is going to go to Michael Chandler for sure. But Tony Ferguson's going to be in his face doing all that weird shit that he be doing. So it's going to, again, and he's no slouch on the ground either. He isn't the best, but he's really good at getting up. He got submissions there too. It's not like he don't. Got that beautiful dart stroke he like doing. So it's like, but again, going to have to, work. I feel like he's going to have to slow down Michael Chandler, because Michael Chandler's going to come, Michael Chandler can go for days, and his wrestling is just phenomenal too. So for me, I think he's just going to have to slow down Michael Chandler in this fight. For Mike, he just have to dictate the pace and dictate the wrestling as well. Mix it in with his striking, and I think this fight is going to be interesting too. This weekend is going to be a phenomenal night of fights. You got Donald Cerrone opening the card with Joe Lozon. Come on. And Mauricio Shogun Rua coming out to fight as well. That's going to, like I said, UFC 224 is going to be lit. Man, and guys, if you liked the video, make sure to throw those thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.